Hello guys, how are you? My name is Professor Aftab Khan and I'm teaching you cyber law. And yes, we discussed so many things in the past and this is week number 14 and according to our syllabus, this is our last week and after this week we will have week number 15 and in the week number 15 you guys have your final examination. But because of the coronavirus, COVID-19 disease, your semester will be online, so definitely you guys have to do your assignments in the replacement of your final exam. So I already given you some assignments in the past and in this week also I will give you one more assignment, so which has a weightage of 10 marks or 15 marks accordingly, and so please do it and do it by the before the next week. And yes, in the next week I will also make a small video of 3 to 5 minutes regarding to explaining your assignments as well. Okay, so in a nutshell, there will be no physical exam or no face to face exam. There will be only assignments in the replacement of the final exam. Okay, and I also receive your assignments, and I evaluate it, and I'm checking it nowadays, and I will give you the gradings accordingly. And I have one more assignment in this week. I will submit it to you, and you can do it. So this will be your last assignment. Okay. Oh, so I will do, I will do an average, and I will select the best assignments, and I will give you the gradings accordingly. So this is the thing, and today is a revision week, and we discussed 13 weeks before, so we discussed 13 chapters before. So today is week number 14, and today is a revision week, so we will discuss only our revision, which we did our past weeks. You can say this in the week number one, which is a chapter number one, which is known as the IT law. IT law is also known as the cyber law, which is known as the information technology. In some of the countries, the word cyber they will not use. Okay, they will use information technology. For example, Pakistan also we will not use cyber law as a terminology. We use information technology. Okay, so information technology is also known as a cyber law or information technology law. Both are the IT law. Both are the same things. It concerns the law of information technology, which includes, we tell us, we already discussed this, that which includes in the computing and the internet. It is related to the legal informations and governs the digital disseminations of both, you can say, digitalized information and softwares, information security and electronic commerce. Okay, these are the aspects as it has been described as paper law or for a paperless environment. And we can say this, that it raises specific issues of intellectual property in computing and online, contract law, privacy, freedom of expression and jurisdictions. We already discussed so many contents, like for example in the past we discussed the history of the cyber law. We also discussed the areas of cyber law. In the third chapter, we discuss the jurisdictions of cyber law. In the fourth chapter, or in the fourth week, we discuss about the freedom of speech in the cyber law and the censorship. Okay, the freedom of speech and the censorship, because in some of the countries there is a freedom of speech. For example, United States, there is a freedom of speech. You can say whatever you want in Twitter, in Google, in Facebook, in Instagram, whatever you want to like. This is your wish. But in some of the countries there is a censorship. For example, in United Arab Emirates, UAE, Saudi Arabia, there is a censorship. Okay, and because of the censorship, you cannot be able to to say, you don't have any freedom of speech. Okay, and then the creation of privacy in the US internet law. We already discussed the technological resources. We discussed so many, we can say, the foreign intelligence surveillance. We have so many techniques we already discussed. Homeland security, intelligence reform, and terrorism prevention acts. We discussed these type of things in the past. Okay, we also discussed the legal enactments of cyber law in United Kingdom, United States, South Korea, and etc. etc. We already discussed the enforcement agencies, the law and enforcement agencies regarding the cyber law. For example, FBI, Federal Bureau of Investigation, CIA, Investigation Agency. In South Korea also they have their own detective foreign criminal investigative agencies. In Pakistan, FIA, which is known as the Federal Investigative Agencies. If, for example, if you people belongs from Indonesia, so definitely you have your own detective agency. So every country of the world, they have their own detective agencies as well. Okay, so in the history of the cyber law, we discussed the regulation of information technology through computing and the we can say this, and the internet evolvement of the development of the first publicly funded networks. Okay, these were the things which we gonna discuss, we had discussed in the past. We also discussed the areas of law, which are the, for example, information technology does not constitute a separate law of area of law, rather it encompasses aspects of contract. For example, intellectual property. We also discussed privacy and data protection laws. We discussed in the past, like for example, intellectual property, which is an important component of IT law, including copyright rules on fair use, and special rules on copy protection, for example, for digital media, and circumventions of such schemes. The area of software patents is controversial, we believe me, and is still evolving in the Europe and elsewhere. We discussed in the past, like for example, software licensing, okay, and end user license agreements. Free software licenses and open source licenses can involve discussions of product liability, of professional liability of individual developers, warranties, contract laws, trade secrets, and intellectual property. We also discussed that in various countries and areas of which depends on the computing and communication industries, which are regulated often strictly by the governmental bodies. This comes in the censorship. Okay, for example, in Dubai, UAE, they have a you can say this, that digital media, Dubai Media Authority, and in the Dubai Media Authority, they have an authority which regulates all the censorship regarding the media resources, and as well as the you can say this, like for example, social media also. You cannot say anything in Dubai openly, okay, because if you will say anything, the police will catch you. Okay, because they have a media regulatory authority, and they have a very severe censorship. Okay, so in it's not about only in Dubai, it's about many countries of the world in which there is a censorship. Okay, in China also they have a censorship. You cannot say anything openly, but United States, United Kingdom, you can say whatever you want, you have a freedom of speech. Okay, so these are the things, these are the differences in different countries of the world, believe me. And we can say this, that in various countries, areas of computing and communication industries are regulated. So these are the things which we already discussed in the past. We discussed some rules and regulations, like for example, spamming and data privacy, unauthorized access. Okay, there are some laws governing which trade on the internet, taxation laws in the internet, consumer protections and advertisings. In some countries of the world, they impose taxations on advertising. For example, maybe you have seen or not seen, I don't know, but if you guys use Facebook, okay, so automatically on the right hand side of the Facebook, or on the left hand side of the Facebook, different ads are coming. So this is known as Facebook advertisement, and these are the paid advertisements. In some countries the government do not take any tax, okay, on those type of advertisement, but in some countries of the world they will charge tax. For example, in my country also they will charge tax as well. In South Korea the taxation is very high. You have to pay this country is among those countries in which are the highly tax countries of the world, okay. And this is good. We can say that the more you will pay the tax, the more you will get the benefit, okay. The more you will pay the tax, the more the government will generate the revenue from you, and once it will generate the revenue, they will put those taxation funds in the betterment of your life, okay, in the betterment of your society. So Korea, that's why, is one of the most well developed and well organized taxation countries of the world, and that's why Korea belongs with the first world. But for example, Pakistan, they have a lot of tax theft. Okay, people are stealing tax. They will not pay any tax. That's why my country belongs with third world. I don't know about Indonesia or Uzbekistan, but or any other countries of the world, but I know about those countries where I live. Okay, for example, in Dubai also, where I live, Dubai is also a tax-free country, but they are charging an indirect tax. Okay, for example, parking tax, okay, toll tax. There are different taxations. So in the digital media, they also paid. We have to also pay tax in the UAE or in the Gulf region. Okay, we also discussed regarding jurisdictions in the past, and the issues and the sovereignty of jurisdictions, which have a quick, we can say this, quickly come to the force in the era of the internet. So basically, jurisdiction is an aspect of state sovereignty, and it refers to the judicial, legislative, and administrative competencies. Although jurisdiction is as an aspect of sovereignty, it's not, in my point of view, it's not a co-extensive with it. The laws of a nation may have extraterritorial impact, extending the jurisdiction beyond the sovereignty, and we can say this, the territorial limits of that nation. We also discuss these type of jurisdictions. We discuss the unauthorization access, data privacy, and spamming. We discuss cyberspace. Okay, we also discuss the law of state nation in which the user resides. We also discuss the laws of the state nation. We also discuss the law of the state nation which apply to the person or business with whom the transaction takes place, and vice versa. So these were the things which we gonna discuss in the past regarding the internet law. We also discussed the norms of internet law. We also discussed the architectures of internet law. For example, there are different places which are well known internationally for the digital law, for the digital aspect. For example, Silicon Valley. Silicon Valley basically is a valley in California. In that valley, that valley is made for the digitalization. Okay, and Silicon Valley in California, we can, in the United States of America, we can say this, that this is the only place in the world which is the hub or the center of digital resources. Okay, so definitely it has it if it is the center of the digital resources, so definitely this place has some rules and regulations. Okay, and in Dubai also they have a silicon oasis. As I remembered, when I been in Dubai, they have a silicon oasis. It's a very beautiful place, and it is an architecture of digital themes. Okay, but the digital themes has some rules and regulations and guidelines. Without the rules and regulations which the country set by the authorities set of the country's nation, nobody can regulate their their digital resources. Okay, there are some norms which we already discussed. There are some markets in the digital internet laws. we can say this, which based on the social norms. Norms means trends, okay, culture, tradition. Every country, believe me, my dear students, have their own norms, their own culture, their own religion, their own tradition, their own language, their own civilization, okay. And we have to we have to respect their religion, culture, language, civilization, and tradition. So if we are doing any act which is against their norms, we can say this, that it will be a crime in that country. So because, and we have to respect every country's norms, trade, culture, and civilization. It's a very important thing. So net neutrality, we also discuss the free speech on the internet. We also discuss the freedom of speech. Basically, my dear students, we discussed in the past that it basically it depends on the cultural norms, society norms, society's cultural, religious values, and etc. etc. So the freedom of speech in some countries, they have their media is free, and they have a freedom of media. In the South Korea also there is a freedom of speech, okay, but up to some extent, because South Korea is a country of high moral values, okay. And this country is that's why this country is one of the world best countries of the world, because they have high ethics rules, high rules and regulations, okay. And those countries, believe me, that those countries who have high value, who give high values to the rules and regulations, to their laws, those countries always be successful in the society. So South Korea is gives high values of law. That's why South Korea is one of the world's best countries of the world. Internet censorship also have some censorship, for example. And there are many countries of the world, they have an internet censorship. For example, China is the best example. There is no you cannot use Google in China, you cannot use WhatsApp in China, you cannot use Facebook in China, because these things are banned over there, okay. So they have internet censorship. Iran also have internet censorship. Saudi Arabia, Tunisia, Singapore also, which is a liberal place, but they have a internet censorship. And what internet censorship is, we already discussed that they don't have a freedom of speech. The government has will look eye on whatever you are basically saying or writing anything in the internet. In the Skype or in the WhatsApp, these things are also detectable by the country's government's detective agencies, and whatever we are saying, the government detective agencies are taping. So very very be careful. If you are saying anything against the law of any country, against the nation of any country, believe me, you will be in trouble. So always be remember, you have to keep these things in mind, that you must be a responsible person. You must behave responsibly while communicating on the internet, while communicating in the Facebook, while communicating in the Skype software or IMO or different social medias communication. So these are the things in which we gonna discuss in the past, and these are the very interesting things in my point of view. We also discussed that what are the reasonable expectations of privacy tests and emerging technology, Privacy Acts of 1974. We also discussed Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act of 1978, and Electronic Communication Privacy Act in the 1986, which is belongs with the United States. In those acts, we discuss some wire communication, oral communication, electronic communication, the Wire Act, the Stored Communications Act, the Pen Register Act, and etc. etc. So these were the things which we already discussed. We also discussed the legal enactment in the United Kingdom, India, okay, and many other countries of the world. They have some legal enactments. Okay, so yes, we discussed some information technology laws in Florida electronic security, marine criminal code, Malaysia digital signatures. These are the different countries which gives the detective services to different detective organizations. Okay, so for example, FBI, FIA, CIA, ISI, RAW, or many other countries of the world. Okay, so India also has some cybercrime investigations. We can say this. So these are the things which we're gonna discuss. We also discuss the cyber defamation law and what is the meaning of defamation. Defamation means that you are defaming someone, you are insulting someone in the internet. Like for example, pornography. We discussed a thorough chapter regarding pornography and filming, illegal filming of without the consent of others, without the acceptance of others, without informing others. There are some animals, basically these are not human beings. So those people who insulting someone, who do pornography or these type of bad acts in the internet, these are, in my point of view, in my opinion, these are animals, because they don't have ethics. Okay, and they are unethical people. And in nowadays, the world become aware, fully aware of this. And if the world is fully aware of this, so definitely the different countries will give different punishment ordinances. Okay, and there are different laws of punishments. And in the pornography in my country and many other, I think in all of the whole world, they have a severe punishment regarding the pornography. And if somebody will do the pornography without the consent of that person, or somebody is filming without the consent or the acceptance of other person, so definitely it has a very bad act, and it will be punishable, highly punishable in the society. So therefore these are the things which we discussed. We discussed digital rights management. There are some digital rights management. We discussed intellectual property, which is known as the IP. We discussed spamming. Okay, we discussed stop online piracy act. And so these were the things which we discussed in the past. I hope you learned this, I hope you enjoy this. Okay, we discussed electronic communication privacy act, which we already discussed. Yes, we discussed internet censorship. And we already discussed this, that in China and Pakistan also, Dubai, they have internet censorship because they don't have any freedom of speech. The creation of privacy in the United States internet law, we already discussed this. And they have a worldwide privacy, we can say, which is known as www. For example, if you are opening a website, so the first three words, the first three alphabets are www. So www basically are the worldwide. This is the foundation which is based on the United States. And this thing is based on the Googles, and they have a privacy right. Nobody can, other person or other company in the world, they have this privacy act, and they have this right to do to breach the privacy and vice versa. So these are the things which we're gonna discuss. I hope you learned this, you enjoyed this. This is the last week of this semester. And definitely, because of this pandemic disease, this full semester is online. And I hope this online learning you will enjoy. This online learning is also very helpful learning in my point of view. You enjoy a lot, I enjoy a lot in this learning. And I think that this learning will give a lot of experiences in life. We pray to God that God will save everyone, all the countries of the world, and all countries will recover soon from this pandemic coronavirus disease. And we pray to God that everybody will be stay safe and stay healthy. And yes, after this week I will upload 3 to 5 minutes video of lecture number 15. It will not be a lecture, but we can say this, that it will be discussion of the um, assignments, because our final exam is already, if we don't have any final exam, we will have assignments which I already submitted to you, and you are, most of the students have submitted to me. One more assignment in this week I will submit it to you, and so please, my request is that please do as soon as possible. So as soon as possible you will give it to me, I will give you the gradings, and it is for those students, especially I make this assignment for those students who did not perform well in the past assignments, so they can adjust their marks in this. And some of the students perform well, and so thank you very much. If you have any question, you can ask me in the internet YSU cyber website. You can email me. I will welcome you to help you. I will be very happy to assist you. And till then, goodbye and good luck.